Hey, what's up YouTube? Brian Fagioli here. And today we're taking a look at two new smartphones from Google. We have the Pixel 4a 5G and the Pixel 5 5G. And it's interesting because technically on this phone, 5G is part of the name, but I don't think it's part of the name here. So it's just the Pixel 5, which has 5G, and the Pixel 4a 5G, which has 5G. A little confusing. Also confusing is the fact that the Pixel 4a 5G is not the Pixel 4a with 5G added to it. This is a totally different phone, different screen size, different everything essentially. So it's weird that they're calling it the 4a 5G because it's not just the previously released 4a with 5G added to it. It's a totally new device. So this could have even had a better name. I don't know, but some curious decisions at Google, to say the least, but they should both be really great Android phones, of course. So the first phone I'm going to look at is the 4a 5G. So that has a bigger screen than the Pixel 5, but it is a lower phone in the Google scheme of things, I suppose we could say. It's less expensive by, I think, about $200, making this potentially the better of the two phones from a value perspective. Although the Pixel 5, I believe, will have better specs and things like that, and it's a smaller device. So to open this, it looks like I don't need my trusty knife, just to peel some tape. And we see the Team Pixel hashtag on the back, which you can use when you're taking photos and putting them on like Instagram or Twitter to share how good your photos are that you're taking with your Pixel device. That's one of the big selling points, of course, about a Pixel phone, is not only do you get these like really great timely updates directly from Google, you don't have to worry about waiting for a carrier to push out an update. You're going to get constant Android updates. But the photos are a big aspect of Pixel phones, that they're supposed to take excellent, they're supposed to be great for photography, particularly at night in low light and taking like astronomy photos and things like that. So let's take a look at the 4a 5G. First thing on top is the phones. We're just going to put that to the side, and we're going to look at what's inside the box. Again, this is just an unboxing, folks. So we have a booklet that is, let's see, it just says Google in blue. It doesn't say what's inside. So it shows you how to meet your Pixel. So we see there's a SIM card tray, 3.5mm audio jack. Wow, a headphone port, power button, volume up and down, and a USB-C port. There's also what they call Pixel Imprint, which is just a fancy word for a fingerprint reader. Interestingly, so this has something that the new iPhones don't have. It has USB-C instead of the, people are getting a little tired of that Lightning port. They really want Apple to go to USB-C, and I agree with that. And we have the headphone jack, so that's pretty cool. And this is the less expensive of the two Pixel devices, and you're getting some cool stuff here. Let's see some different languages here, but basically you have meet your new Pixel and set up your new Pixel. Shows the power button. There's the volume rocker and I guess a dedicated Pixel button. Quick switch adapter included in the box. I guess if you want to, let's see, old phone. Oh, okay, so it's like a USB-C to A cable maybe if you want to transfer data from your old phone to your new phone. I'm not sure about that. We get a power brick. This is something Apple also does no longer include in their boxes. And this is a USB Type-C charger. Very nice. Now, with Apple, people are like, oh, well, Apple's trying to save the world and go green. But the crazy thing is, so they're no longer packing the power adapter saying people have them, but the new iPhone comes with the USB-C to Lightning cable. So it's kind of counterintuitive. It doesn't really make sense on Apple's part. They should have at least packed the USB-C charger for one generation at least, and then taken away the power brick. But whatever. So here we have a nice, beautiful Type-C to Type-C cable in white with a USB-C power brick. And then, like we said earlier, there's a Type-C to Type-A adapter that you can plug into the bottom of the phone and I guess transfer files or whatever. I think a lot of Google phone owners that are existing Android device owners will probably go the cloud backup way and just restore that way. I don't know that a lot of people are going to use this. This is probably unnecessary. I bet most people, I would even say 99% of people probably don't use this, but you could probably also use this to connect like a flash drive to the phone, so it's nice to have, but talking about e-waste, this is probably not necessary. We also have a SIM removal tool, and that's something too. I mean, you have this whole piece of paper here showing you how to remove the SIM, and it is only a SIM. There's no expandable storage. You can't put a micro SD card in there. The SIM card removal tool is very basic, just this like circle with a pin. You could also use like a paper clip or something. I wouldn't mind seeing phone manufacturers stop including these in the box. These end up just getting lost. They get dropped on the floor. You step on them. I'm always worried that like I'm gonna have it on the table, it gets knocked off, and like my Chihuahua is gonna eat this, and this would like be bad for her to eat. So I you know, I don't know that we need to have these in every single phone box forever. And eventually we may get rid of SIM card entirely, with it all be eSIM, so that might not even be really an issue. And we have in here services and support, blah, blah, blah. No one's gonna read that. And that means the box is now empty and we can look at the phone itself. So the phone itself has this nice protective plastic on it that I'm gonna peel off right now. Not rice peel off, but a screen peel off. Ooh, that's so satisfying. And let's look. So at the side here, we see the SIM card tray. There's a little hole for it. And there's nothing else on this side. And I have to say, just touching this phone, this matte black rubber material feels wonderful, absolutely wonderful. On the bottom, we have 2 speaker grills and a USB Type-C plug, very nice. And here we have the volume rocker, and I don't think, is that power? Is there power on the top too? Or maybe that's just the power button, right? I don't see like a dedicated Google button or anything that some other devices have. So it looks like we just have this volume rocker and then the power button. The phone is black, but the power button is like a white color, right? Is that white? Like a white gray. It's a nice color. It's not like a funky color, like a green or a red that Google might use. Like, this is a little disappointing, but I like it. It looks nice. And then on the rear, we have the camera array and the fingerprint reader. This fingerprint reader actually kind of almost looks hidden. You can see the circle, but it's also like, it feels like this nice matte plastic rubber. I don't know how they do that, but despite it being a fingerprint reader, it doesn't look like a piece of glass. It looks like it kind of blends in with the back of the phone. And it's really nice. So that's the unboxing of the phone. I'm just gonna power it on. Hopefully it powers from the factory. We can just take a look at the screen and the boot animation. There we go, so we see Google. And the front camera is not a notch, but instead, like with the Google Pixel 4a, it's that punch hole on the left-hand side. I don't really mind either. You know, some people say like they like the notch better, some people like the punch hole better. I'm a big fan of the phones where it like pops up the top, but any moving parts on a device is a weak point, so you don't want any moving parts ideally. So those cameras that flip up or pop up, they're cool, but they are a failure point, so that's really not a great thing. Eventually, we'll probably have cameras that come through the glass, you won't even be able to see them, and we'll finally have that dream of ours of having a phone that's like just all glass in the front and like nothing. Nice. Look at that beautiful animation. So this is the Pixel 4a 5G. Okay, so we're gonna put that to the side now, and we're gonna look at its, I hate to say little brother, it's a smaller phone, but it's the more expensive of the two with better specs. This is the Pixel 5, which has 5G, so these are both 5G phones. Again, on the back we see Team Pixel, and the unboxing is the exact same thing as far as these like stickers, as we just peel those off, put those to the side, open up the box, and again, the phone is on the top. And let's look at what's inside the box. I'm not gonna go through everything if it's exactly the same, which it looks to be. We have this blue thing, meet your Pixel, set up your Pixel. Again, this one, interestingly, only has 2 languages, and I think the 4a 5G, let's see. The 4a 5G, no, meet your Pixel. Oh yeah, it had more languages. So the 4a 5G had more languages in the book, right? Yeah, and the 5 does not. So maybe the 5 is just in less markets, so they didn't feel a need for that. But inside the box, again, we have that same Type-C cable. We have a Type-C AC adapter, and we have this little Type-C to Type-A dongle, which is hard to get out of the box, which I don't think a lot of people are going to use, but it's nice to have, I suppose. Probably even use this in your computers as a Type-C to Type-A adapter. So if you have a laptop that's Type-C only, don't quote me on that, I could be wrong, but I don't see any reason why this wouldn't work to convert like a USB Type-A flash drive to a Type-C for plugging into a computer. So it's nice to have that, even if you're not going to use it for your phone. I'm sure you could find a use for it. And that's the box. The box is now empty. So we have now the Pixel 5. And the Pixel 5, let's take a look again. I'm going to peel off the front just like the 4a 5G. And on this side, we have the SIM card tray. We have dual speaker grills. We have the Type-C adapter, Type-C plug. And on this side, we have power and the volume rocker. On the top, so this is the one big difference, right? I might have missed to look at that. Yeah, so on the top, the 4a 5G has a 3.5mm headphone jack, audio port. This does not. So the Pixel 5 does not have a headphone jack. So the 4a 5G, just to think about it here, folks, it has lesser specs, fine, but it has a bigger display, and it has a headphone jack, and what else does this thing have? So this thing has, and it's $200 cheaper. So you're gonna pay $200 more for the Pixel 5, which may be worth it if you value the specs more than a headphone jack and a larger screen. But again, it's really a value thing. So on the top, we just have like a hole for the microphone. And on the back, again, we have the camera array and we have the fingerprint reader. So I'm gonna boot this guy on. And you can see here, this is not a fun white color. It's just a metallic color for the power button. And we see here the same punch hole camera on the front. These two phones are very, very similar. It's why I feel it's kind of odd to call like one the 5 and one the 4a 5G. The branding is just very odd. And I know COVID really messed things up for Google. I think the 4a was supposed to come out a lot sooner. I don't know if the 4a 5G and the 5 are supposed to come out at the same time. It probably would have made more sense to have the 4a and the 4a 5G come out at the same time. But let's look at the boot animation. It should be identical. Okay, we see Google. If I didn't mention it already, both phones have the little G on the back bottom of the phone. So, hey there. Okay, hi there. So both phones, look how similar these phones are, right? So like, just looking at them, they look like identical from a design perspective. They are just, slabs of glass with the punch hole camera. They have the buttons in the same places. This phone is $200 cheaper though. It has a headphone jack and a bigger screen. This phone is $200 more, doesn't have a headphone jack and has a smaller screen. Now I'll say this, a bigger screen doesn't mean a better screen, right? So like you can have a better display. I believe the Pixel 5 has a better display as far as quality. And I'll be honest, folks, I prefer the smaller size of the 5, just holding them here. There's not a huge difference. You can see there, I mean, it's definitely a bigger phone, the 4a 5G, but I like the 5 size better. It kind of fits in my hand nicely. I don't have the biggest hands in the world. As you can see, they're kind of small hands. But the 5 just feels really, really nice. So for someone like me, I don't use a 3.5mm audio port, and I don't really need the bigger screen. I'd rather have the 5. Even at $200 more, the better specs, and I like the size a lot better. They both feel wonderful. I absolutely adore the black matte backings that they have. They feel really great to hold. They look wonderful. They're both relatively affordable. I believe the Pixel 5 is $699 and the 4a 5G is $499. So that should really be the big factor into your decision, is how much you want to spend on a smartphone. Personally, if I wanted a new 5G smartphone, I would probably, and money was an issue, which, hey, right now during COVID, a lot of people are having financial issues. the 4A 5G is probably just a better value. You're going to get 5G speeds. You're going to get, you're going to get a whole bunch of cool stuff from Google. You're going to get Google updates for years. You're going to have a great camera. You're going to get great everything for $500. Really, it's the Google faithful, the really hardcore Android users that might want the Pixel 5 instead, that they're willing to spend the extra $200 for the better specs. I like the smaller size, but size shouldn't be a factor here. I mean, they're very similar in size. It's not like one is like enormous and one is smaller. The Pixel 5 is a nicer size, I think, but the 4A 5G is not like, oh my God, big. Look, I mean, it's fine. I have small hands, so it might look a little bit bigger, but it's really, really nice. So those are the two phones from Google, and I think that COVID probably really messed with their plans this year. I don't know that they would have done this release of these two phones at the same time had it not been for COVID. But if you have any questions about these phones, I mean, they've been covered a ton in the media already, so there's not many questions that haven't been answered yet. But if you have anything you want me to do with these phones while I'm testing them, if you have any questions about them, please leave them in the comments below. I'm definitely going to be doing some more videos soon. Matter of fact, as soon as I'm done with this, I also have the Nest Audio, which I'm going to unbox, and that will be uploaded later. I'm really looking forward to that as well. All right, folks, thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.